I've been, doing this stuff a long time, 35 plus years. I can't remember. And that doesn't, my memory is starting to go a little bit, but I cannot remember a time when people got it so wrong. But I think people missed how much liquidity was being created. And then clearly we all missed that we'd have the third largest banking collapse in history. And that would be a good thing because the Fed would then pump another $300 billion into the economy.
Morgan Creek Capital's Mark Yusko gives us his prediction for the first part of 2024 for Bitcoin, crypto, and why massive market manipulation of prices is happening right now. Yusko explains that while speculators initially drive price movements, giants like BlackRock have entered the market and shifted the cycle by pushing prices beyond fair value. The crash we're seeing of many countries' fiat currency shows that this situation is extremely volatile. The latest inflation numbers are also a sign of these systems' instability and is skyrocketing as we speak. Yusko emphasizes that the repercussions are tangible, impacting people's ability to afford basic housing and food, and predicts we'll see an inevitable run on the banks. He points out that not only is the economy spiraling, but an abundance of money printing and misallocated investments is contributing to capital disappearance. These events will be put on full display in the first part of 2024. Let's get right into the latest interview with Mark Yusko as he gives his market prediction and why we're closer than ever to an unavoidable collapse. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content we do here on this channel. Let's get right into the video.
I think this 2024 is going to surprise to the downside. I think, again, not collapse, not depression, but I just think that as everyone was on one side of the boat last year, negative, I think everybody's come back on the other side of the boat, positive. And yet just about every indicator that you can look at from a macro perspective, leading economic indicators just made new cycle lows. I mean, like the lowest in the last 4 cycles. In fact, I don't know that we've ever, I think this is right, I don't think we've ever had this many consecutive negative readings of LEI ever. Like crazy. And so that's one. PMIs are down. Now, PMIs have turned. Raul's been talking about this. I know you were just talking with Jim Bianco. Jim may have been talking about PMIs. But I think there's a lot of macro data that's a little negative. I think first quarter GDP is going to surprise a lot of people how low it is, but that's a cyclical thing. And even though they seasonally adjust, they don't seem to do it right. So it's always the lowest quarter. And I think they could be closing in on 0. I don't know that it'll go negative. I'm telling you, it's coming. And that's another thing to your point. What did everybody miss last year? That's probably one of the biggest things people missed was the third year of the presidential cycle. So there's lots of 4-year cycles. There's crypto 4-year cycle. There's this presidential 4-year cycle. The third year, so the year before the election, is always the best year of the stock market. It averages 16%. Okay. So on average, it's 16%. That clearly is what people missed. And that fiscal spend, people had no idea we were going to give hundreds of billions of dollars to a bunch of money launderers in Ukraine. We had no idea that we were going to be back in another war that Ms. Yellen says we can clearly afford 2 wars. Like, what? You're financing wars? Oh, that's what big money does. It finances wars. Central banks, that's what they were created for. Back in the 1600s, they've been financing wars ever since. So I think we all missed that. And that changes. The fourth year, the election year, is on average a muted year for markets. It's, on average about 6%, which is, not high, not low. But the swing factor is what you're talking about, which is we are definitely leaning socialist, communist, like handout, totalitarian. I mean, I hear some of the stuff I'm like, are we in Venezuela? Are we in Argentina? Are we in the Weimar Republic? I mean, that's actually a scary, scary thing. I read this. The guy did a long series of posts. I wish I could give him credit, but I can't remember his name. On Twitter, going through the history of Weimar. Oh my gosh, I had no idea. And you look at the things that they did, and you look at what's happening in America, it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's like the same playbook, like down to a whole bunch of stuff. My eyes were just like, why? I mean, yeah, my eyes were wide open. And that resulting hyperinflation, it was that could never happen because we have the world reserve currency. Well, guess what's happening right now? There's a chipping away. There's an assault on petrodollar status. And Saudi's now talking to Russia and China, and they're kind of giving us the hand to the face. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but I think we're closer to a loss of control event than people think.
The ongoing adoption of Bitcoin by governments, institutions, and media signifies a broader recognition of its value. However, Yusko asserts this journey is just beginning, comparing the initial years to the current widespread interest and investment. With a giant spotlight on Bitcoin ETFs, Yusko highlights this being a significant development in the financial ecosystem.
This is just option 4, right? When you become indebted, when you are an empire and you become indebted because of the corruption and your inability to actually live within your means, you got 4 choices. You can pay back the debt. Nope, right? We talk about tax all the wealth of all the people in America. You can't pay back the debt. 33 trillion, you can't do it, right? So that's off the table. You can't restructure it because China and Russia don't want our bonds. You can't default on it because then you get kicked out of office. And so 4 is you devalue it. And this is the part that I don't want to predict Weimar, but man, this is really scary when you think about your prediction right there and what it means for this ossification of the haves and the have-nots. So, right, we have the greatest wealth and income inequality in the history of our republic. It's pretty impressive. And when you start bailing out the people at the top and handing them money through like this, like if a bank can borrow from one side of the house and lend to the other side of the same house and make a spread, that's a riskless transaction. That's literally a government handout. And when they vote to give money to other governments and then it comes back to the defense companies that they own pieces of, or when this one crazy, when Ms. Pelosi, like while she's in session on a bill that has to do with semiconductors, her husband is trading NVIDIA options, like in real time. That corruption will lead to what? It will lead to a need for your other prediction, which is you got to give people money to afford stuff. And so what happens is as you devalue the currency, prices start to rise. Well, the problem is they don't rise linearly. They rise parabolically. And again, I don't want to predict a Weimar-like, but that's where you get. You will eventually get to that point where the only way for the average person to survive is through a government handout. Then it's not even about survival as much as it is just vote for me, just keep me in power. And so I got to give you enough free electricity, free gasoline, spending money, UBI, whatever. But I'm very worried about the devaluation. Now, what that does for one of my other predictions, what that does for Bitcoin prices, yeah, good stuff.
Yusko anticipates that the crypto summer will continue its scorching run until June of the following year. As we stand on the precipice of fall 2023, merely a month away, the crypto market is poised for a meteoric surge in prices. He illustrates Bitcoin's current undervaluation, drawing in investors and enticing speculators eager to ride the waves of September's price fluctuations in pursuit of profits. Yusko's outlook is fueled by the impending wave of mass adoption, which he believes presents an unparalleled opportunity to get in on the action. He sees the race toward a six-figure price target set to unfold in just under a year. What's more, he highlights the intriguing historical pattern of Bitcoin's value surging 10x with each halving event, hinting that 2024 could catapult Bitcoin to an unbelievable $100,000. What do you think about Mark Yusko's prediction for Bitcoin, the crypto market cap, as well as the institutional capital pouring into the space? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. We'll see you in the next video.